Hello, everybody. It's me, Lady Burke. I just wanted to thank everyone. One of my videos that I had posted a little bit ago, I'll put the link below about smoking, what to do if your neighbors are smoking. Seems to be a hot spot for a lot of people. A lot of people have different opinions about it, but it's my very first video since I started this channel that has over 400 views, and I've gotten a lot of feedback on that video, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that's watching. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed. Um, and when I saw that, it made me realize, okay, maybe I should focus on more hotspots for residents. What could be an issue for a resident and or a landlord? And so I just wanted to start off the video by saying thanks. Thanks to everyone for your support. And so this video will be another hot topic that has come up a lot in property management. I have my own personal experiences as a resident that I would love to share because I know everyone who has rented can relate to this. So, on that topic in regards to noise, have you ever lived underneath a neighbor who was doing this? Yeah. And that clip may seem funny and you may think, oh, you're exaggerating. But let me tell you something. In property management, we see it all. And that is a very likely scenario that has happened many, many times. And landlords, we get so many complaints from residents. And as a resident myself, this is a story I have to share. And to me, it's funny. So when I was a resident, I was on the first floor and I had our neighbor above me. And every now and then, all of a sudden, it didn't matter what time of the day, it was different hours of the day. All of a sudden, I would hear boom, 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 and it would go on. And at first, when I heard it, I was like, oh, I guess my neighbors are getting some, right? Good for them. But after a while, I was like, no, that's sorry, we all know what that sounds like. I'm like, that's not what it is. This is something else. This would go on for a long period of time. And my ceiling would be shaking. Like, I had ceiling fans and they would literally be shaking. Boom, 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 boom. And I was the on-site manager for this property. They knew I was the on-site manager for this property. They knew that I lived underneath them. So I post a notice asking them nicely to please be courteous about the noise level come from their apartment. Now, at this time, I didn't know what the noise was. I just knew that it was crazy, it was long, and it would go on. And they never acknowledged the notice, and the noise would continue. Boom, 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 boom. So one night, I go up there and I knock on the door, and they answer it. And I introduce myself again because, I never assume anything. I always say, hi, remember me? I'm so and so. I'm your on site manager. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I said, I live underneath you, and I'm going to ask you nicely to please stop with the noise immediately. Two of them came. It was one girl at the front, another one came. They all started yelling and screaming in my face. It's not us. It's not us. It's the neighbors on skateboards. And I'm telling them, I said, no, you're not hearing me. I am underneath you. I live under you. I am telling you that my ceiling is shaking. All I hear is boom, boom, boom. It's not us. They started yelling. They started screaming. I said, okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to record the events. And I walked away. They were still yelling and screaming. They filed a complaint against me with upper management saying that I was hostile. Of course, I was able to document the fact that I had been posting notices prior to that event about the noise, and they never acknowledged it. Long story short, I go to the owner. We send an email to the owner. We draw the documentation of all the notices and what happened, asking for permission to move forward with kicking this resident out. Because even after that night, they continued with the noise. So they didn't care. So, long story short, Turns out that there's a total of 3 roommates in this apartment, and one of them comes to me on the down low and says, I want to put in my 30-day notice to vacate. She says, I cannot live with those two upstairs. They're extremely hostile and aggressive. I said, interesting. I've had that experience too. She goes, and we did get your notice about the noise. Just so you know, it's their trampoline. I'm sorry. I said, what? She says, they have a trampoline, and that's the noise that you're hearing. They use it for exercise. They do it every day, and they're up there on the second floor of an apartment building on a trampoline. Now, every time I think back on this story, I laugh because the first thing that comes to my mind is, why then did you get so upset and irate when the manager came to your door asking you to please stop the noise? The manager. Lying, telling me that it's the neighbors on skateboards. Okay? Like the skateboard is going to cause my ceiling fan to shake. These residents almost were kicked out of their apartment because they continued with the noise even then. And it wasn't until they decided all of a sudden on their own that there must be some misunderstanding that they decided to approach me nicely and civil to sit down and talk about it. I did. I sat down, talked about it with them, and I had to be straight up. Tell me about that trampoline that you have that you didn't tell me about. And we talked about it. Long story short, we were able to work it out, and we were able to live or cohabitate together in the apartment building peacefully. But this is one of the situations that I went through. Here's another. Residents coming home 2 o'clock in the morning, drunk from the bars, in the courtyard, yelling and screaming, laughing, partying in the courtyard, which is actually prohibited in their lease, drinking, all this stuff. Now, as the manager, we are responsible for maintaining that property. We're responsible for the maintenance, for the cleanliness, for keeping the property safe, and we're also responsible for handling all resident complaints. So for every time there is a neighbor that is acting like this, the complaints come strolling in. We get the phone calls, the corporate office gets the phone calls, and it's on us to do something about it. Which brings me to my next point. A lot of questions are coming up now with the new law that went into effect January 1st. It's the just cause for eviction law, where a landlord has to have just cause for evicting a resident, or they can be held liable for paying relocation fees that can go as high up to $20,000. $20,000 is a financial hardship for a lot of owners. Now, at this time, when this resident was coming in, this was before 2020, coming in drunk in the courtyard, we evicted them. We were able to successfully evict them because they would party all night long. It didn't matter how many times I was at their door at night. They didn't care. They didn't care that they were waking up the baby next door. Those residents were calling me upset. They didn't care. So we were able to evict them. Of course, we had all the documentation of all the notices, of all the times I went to their door knocking, asking them to please stop. The police had been called on them multiple times, so we had those records as well. We evicted them. They were out. But now in 2020, you have to have just cause, and it takes twice as long to get rid of a bad apple. One bad resident is all it takes to ruin the entire community or apartment building. We have lost good residents because of one bad resident. And so now we have extra laws, which makes it extra difficult for a landlord to get rid of a bad resident. In addition to that new law that took effect January the 1st, 2020, it's the AB 1482 law. You can look it up. And that's here in California. In addition to all that, don't forget that we have the pandemic of COVID-19 going on. All courts right now are holding evictions. No one can be evicted. The only exception to that would be if this person was an actual physical threat to management staff or other residents. So if they physically put their hands on you, that's the only time an eviction will be done. Other than that, you are stuck with that bad resident. So the next question that I get is, well, how do you avoid that? How do you screen applicants? This is one of the most important steps when approving an applicant for rent and moving them into your community, especially if you are an on-site manager. What you're saying when you approve an applicant is you want this person to be your neighbor and everyone else's neighbor. So screening an applicant is extremely important, and that will be my next video. I will be answering a lot of questions, common questions that we get about criminal background checks. How do you go about that if something pops up in the credit check? And other things to watch out for, pitfalls about discrimination laws. You still have to be on the lookout with fair housing laws and discrimination. So I will be addressing all of that. But I really want to know your stories. What have you experienced? Some funny stories with the neighbor that's been partying, jumping off roofs, a pool party. I want to know what you've experienced. And if you have any questions, please email me. My email will be in the description below in the video. And again, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's supporting this channel. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe for more videos. There's a lot more content that's coming out, and I really hope that you guys enjoy it. Thank you.